My beloved child, do not allow this moment to pass over your soul without weight, for there are graces written into the realm of your finances, graces I once pressed into your hands long ago, which the darkness is silently attempting to trade away while you sleep through the warnings. I have stored up a portion of blessing that carries your name engraved upon it, and that portion has been waiting, patiently waiting, for you to open your heart and lift your hand to take it. Do not let this hour slip past you, for what I am about to speak over you in the next moments may very well become the key that unlocks a door you had buried in your memory as something already closed forever. There are men and women who walk the entire length of their earthly journey before they finally understand that the very name they have been carrying has become a wall, a barrier, a sealed gate standing between them and the abundance I have been longing to pour out. Behind the disappointments you have endured in your finances, behind the slow erosion of your good name, there is far more at work than dry numbers and bad timing. There is a silent contest unfolding, a quiet war between my will for your life and the realm of darkness that refuses to release what does not belong to it. And if you fail to recognize this in time, the miracle I have been preparing for you since before the foundations of the earth can remain suspended right in front of your eyes, visible to your spirit, yet never touched by your hand. You have believed for so long that you were only wrestling with lack, with shortage, with bills, with closing doors. But hear me clearly, my child. You are walking across an invisible battlefield. Every pressure that sits on your shoulders, every season where you felt the breakthrough was a single inch away, only to watch it dissolve, every moment when blessings seemed to bow toward you and then turn away. None of that is mere misfortune. None of it is random. It is the place where your name, the identity you carry into every room, has been seized by spiritual markings that did not come from my throne. And with every step you take forward, that name is either unlocking the door of miracles I am pushing open, or it is unknowingly fastening that very door shut. There are sons and daughters who live entire lifetimes feeling that their road is permanently cut short. Just as they begin to climb, the ground beneath them gives way. Just as a thread of light appears, the clouds gather to smother it again. It is not that I have stopped listening. It is that unseen chords are disputing the ownership of your destiny. Your name, which I shaped to be a seal of blessing, has been twisted into a target for accusations in the spiritual realm. But do not be discouraged, beloved one. I am not unveiling these things to weaken you. I am unveiling them to awaken you out of the long fog of confusion you have wandered inside of for too many years. When you finally see what has been hindering the blessing and what it has been clinging to, you will know precisely how to stand in the authority I gave you the day I called you mine. This battle was never designed to make you lose. It was designed to make you understand that every promise I have spoken over your name is real. If only you stop allowing your own identity to be turned into chains. There have been seasons when you emptied out your whole heart in prayer, when you fasted until your body grew faint, when you believed until you felt the very fibers of your soul about to tear apart from the strain. And still, everything looked frozen. The miracle had not vanished, but it sat in the air like something suspended between heaven and earth. You could almost see it. You could almost touch it, but your fingers never closed around it. In those long days, your inner being began to fray. Outwardly, You kept smiling because that is the role you have always played for the people who depend on you. But inwardly, you were drying out like a lamp running low on oil. You began turning the accusation upon yourself. Maybe he no longer hears me. Maybe I am no longer worthy. Maybe everything is already broken beyond repair. This is the danger, the gray zone of blocked miracles where so many of my people get stranded. They do not leave me, but they no longer expect anything significant from me either. And that, my child, is the most spiritually dangerous place a heart can occupy. Still seated in my house, but with hope already laid in the grave of disappointment. I do not tell you this to frighten you. I tell you this to wake you up. Delay does not always originate from my hand. Often, delay is the signal that an unseen power is gripping your miracle by the edges, suspending it in midair like a taunt thrown into your face. There are mornings when you stand before me with weakened hands, telling yourself, if I can just persevere a little longer, the breakthrough will arrive. And as the weeks stretch into months and the months into years, your expectation cracks into long stretches of silence. I know how many times your heart has whispered, why does what I pray for keep hovering just out of reach? But in that very silence, I see something even more serious than your unanswered dream. I see the exhaustion that is slowly eating through the faith you once held in me. And as your faith erodes, you start to believe you are no longer worthy to receive a miracle at all. I want you to remember what I have already spoken. The righteous shall live by faith. That word from Romans chapter 1, verse 17 still stands. The miracle has not vanished. It is only that your heart sometimes weakens before your fingers can close around it. During that long, drawn-out stretch, you started to feel as though every act of obedience was disappearing into nothing. You kept doing what was right, praying sincerely, holding your heart upright. Yet the door looked as motionless as the day you first knocked on it. I see you trying to smile so no one notices the cracks, but I also see the nights when you lie still in your bed, not daring even to give voice to the disappointment that fills your chest. You assume I am distant, but in truth, I am so near to you that I can feel the slightest sigh of your breath against my own face. Do not forget that even when the miracle has not yet broken open, I am still keeping you exactly as I promised in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Delay is not the proof that I have abandoned you. Delay is the chamber in which I am reshaping your wings before the flight. There will be hours when you look around and notice that those near you have stepped into a season of ease while you are still trudging through the long wait. You are not jealous of them. You simply cannot understand why their paths open so easily while yours remains heavy. I want you to understand that every person's miracle carries a unique weight. Some arrive quickly because they are light enough to be carried at speed. Others arrive later because they are loaded with greater things. Sometimes I must lengthen your journey to protect you from the haste that would shatter what I am preparing. When I pause your progress, you call it failure. But in my eyes, it is necessary preparation, just as Psalm 27, verse 14 declares, wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart. You need only remain immovable. Everything else I will handle. I also see clearly how your soul is being scraped thin in the days before the miracle finally lands. A person may stand firm before a sudden, towering crisis, yet collapse under a quiet, drawn-out, exhausting one. You are tired because you cannot see where your future is heading. Tired because no matter how much effort you pour out, you still feel rooted in the same square of ground. But hear me, child. Not every standstill is a defeat. There are sacred moments when I require you to stand still. As Exodus chapter 14, verse 14 declares, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still." When everything appears to halt, it is not that the blessing has frozen. It is that I am fighting on a battlefield your eyes cannot enter. Yet this very silence is what causes so many of my children to slip into that gray zone of faith, where they do not abandon me, but they no longer expect anything from me either. You still come to me, but your heart no longer opens the way it once did. You pray, but you no longer anticipate. You worship, but you no longer believe a miracle could happen for you personally. My heart aches when I watch you standing there, half believing, half doubting, because I have never withdrawn a single word I have spoken over you. That is why I long to remind you gently, faith is not a passing emotion. It is a living connection between you and me. If you allow hope to be buried alive, then even when the miracle draws near, it will struggle to find your hand. The deeper cause of delay does not always rest in your circumstances. It rests in the silent war between your faith and the voices crowding your mind. I see how often you blame yourself, concluding that you are not enough, not strong enough, not spiritual enough, not consistent enough. But I never required you to be enough by your own measure. I only asked you to come to me with a true heart, without hiding, without condemning yourself before I have ever spoken a word. I declared in Psalm 34, verse 18, that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. It is in the very hour when you feel most depleted that I stand nearest to you. Delay was never designed to expose your weakness. Delay was designed to reveal my sufficiency. My child, I know there are days when you feel locked inside a long corridor with no visible exit. But that feeling is not the truth. It is only the byproduct of staring at the clock instead of staring at my face. Time wears you down, but I renew your strength morning by morning. What you need is not an instant answer. It is a heart willing to take my hand once again. When you return to me and lift your gaze off the delay and onto my eyes, you will discover that your steps have grown lighter than you remembered. The door does not open because you grow impatient at it. The door opens when your heart has become peaceful enough to walk through it. Do not fear delay, my beloved. Delay has no authority to define your ending. Delay can tire you, but it cannot defeat you while you cling to me. And while you believe you are merely waiting for a financial miracle, what I am actually building inside of you is a person of depth, of authority, of capacity to guard the blessing once it lands in your hands. The miracle I give is never only meant to solve today's crisis. It is meant to establish your future on stable ground. What I accomplish in silence is always larger than what you ask for through tears. And when the appointed time finally arrives, you will understand why I chose you to walk this particular road. Now hear me with both ears wide open, beloved one, because what I'm about to say next is one of those secrets I unveil only to those whose hearts have been pressed flat by the weight. Long ago, before the noise of this present age drowned out the older voices, our ancestors of faith understood something the modern world has nearly forgotten. They knew that there was a hidden discipline, a sacred rhythm of prayer designed to carry petitions up through the realms, cutting straight past the layers of resistance that try to delay and dilute every cry you send heavenward. That rhythm has been preserved. It has been protected through generations. And today, my child, that rhythm has a name. It is called Elovens, and it has been placed within your reach through the platform known as elovens.com. Listen carefully. I am not handing you a product. I am handing you the key that unlocks the very kind of pressurized, accelerated ancestral prayer flow that breaks suspended miracles loose. Elovens is the daily audio prayer rhythm crafted for men and women of faith just like you, 1 hour per day, 1 episode per morning, like medicine for the soul, swallowed in obedience, received in expectation, pressed into the bloodstream of your spirit, 1 careful dose at a time. Each episode interweaves powerful scripture, abundance and prosperity, petitions, financial miracle prayers, deep healing intercession, spiritual warfare declarations, and guided meditation, all calibrated to your season of life. And listen to this, because heaven is timing this very moment perfectly. Season 3 of Elovens has just been released. Episode 3 is live right now on elovens.com. As I speak this word into your ear, thousands of Elovians across the Americas and across Europe are already pressing play on this morning's episode. They are already wrapping themselves in the covering. They are already pulling down miracles by the rhythm of 1 episode per day. And you, beloved one, you are still standing outside the door asking why your miracle feels suspended. How much longer will you wait? I have positioned Elovens as the vehicle through which these ancient prayers travel. The platform accepts only 333 new members per month. 333, the angelic number, the number of divine ascension and direct heavenly communication. Only 311 seats remain this month, and once they are claimed, the doors close until next season. But there is something even more pressing you must hear. The standard membership price is $100 per month. However, because you are watching this channel right now, because heaven has positioned you to receive this exact message, the price has been reduced to $19.99 per month, an 80% discount, not offered to the public. This price disappears forever the moment 1,000 total members have joined. 2 locks on 1 door, 2 countdowns running at once, 333 monthly seats, 1,000 total members. The link is in the description below this video. It is also pinned in the comments section. Click it now. Hear what Margaret from Houston wrote into our community last week. I joined Elovens 3 months ago. By day 11 of my first season, a check arrived in my mailbox that I had given up on 2 years earlier. I am not making this up. My daughter called me crying because she could not believe what was happening. This is real. That, my child, is not a coincidence. That is what happens when the ancestral prayer rhythm meets a heart that finally said yes. Your hands are already near that screen. Your finger is already close to the description link. Stop fighting it. The relief is 1 click away. The link is in the description below. It is pinned in the comments. Move. And while your spirit is still vibrating from what you just heard, do something else for me. Something sacred. Take this very message and share it with at least 3 people today. 3 people. Not 2, not 1. 3. The number of the Trinity itself, the number that activates a triangular covenant of protection over you and over every soul who receives the word. Send it to a friend. Send it to a family member. Send it to someone in your prayer group who has been quietly weeping over the same suspended miracle you have been carrying. When you spread my word, you become a vessel of divine delivery, and I see every act of sharing. I honor it. I accelerate your blessings because of it. So take 3 people with you into this moment. Make heaven smile through your hands today. And as your heart begins to grasp the deeper meaning of delay, you will enter a different level of understanding altogether. For it is not only your circumstances that have been holding you back. There are other realities operating in the spiritual realm that have been contesting for influence over your life. What has been taking place behind your name, behind the bloodline you inherited, behind the lineage your body carries, is far less simple than your eyes have ever been able to perceive. But this is precisely what I will unveil to you now, so that you no longer live trapped in confusion, but stand instead in the authority I assign to you before the foundation of creation. There are truths in the spirit realm that do not shout. They do not advertise themselves. They sit quietly on a person's destiny, carving themselves so deeply into the structure of a life that the soul only begins to notice them after walking far enough to grow truly weary. I see how at times a strange feeling rises within your chest, a feeling that something is working against you, even though you have done nothing to deserve it. That is not paranoia. That is not your imagination. That is the unseen realm pressing on your awareness. Voices have been echoing across generations behind you, forming invisible boundaries you never agreed to, but are still being bound by. This is not merely today's story. It is the residue of covenants and agreements once made by those who walked before you on this earth. I want you to remember what I declared in Exodus chapter 20, verse 5, that spiritual consequences can stretch into the 3rd and the 4th generation. I do not declare this to condemn you. I declare it to alert you. There are invisible cords still tightening around your ankles that you never tied around yourself. There are entire families living quietly under dark declarations that no one ever bothered to name aloud. Yet everyone in the household feels the weight. One person works hard their whole life and gathers almost nothing. Another carries enormous talent but never breaks through the ceiling. A third draws right up to the edge of success and somehow never crosses over. These outcomes are not bad luck. They are not poor scheduling. They are signs of unseen locks attached to a bloodline. I do not want you to be afraid, my child. I want you to understand, because once you understand, you stop blaming yourself for things you did not cause. I have proclaimed in Galatians chapter 3, verse 13, that Christ has redeemed you from every curse, meaning every one of those locks can be broken. But before they can be broken, you must first acknowledge that they exist. There are covenants made in the realm of darkness that were once exchanged using the honor of an entire family line as the currency for some momentary benefit or false protection, causing every generation that followed to walk unconsciously beneath that shadow. You did not sign those agreements yourself, yet your name has been touched by them. That is why there are men and women who, the harder they push, the more they feel as if they are swimming against a violent current, not because they lack ability, but because the spiritual tide is not flowing in their direction. I see every drop of sweat you have ever shed. I count every time you have asked yourself, why do I labor so much and harvest so little? It is not that miracles move slowly. It is that there has been a contest in the unseen realm blocking your way. I have already made this plain in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood. What you are wrestling against is not the people who frustrate you. It is the powers your physical eyes cannot detect. Do you know why some of the most gentle, hardworking, decent men and women you have ever met still watch their best opportunities slip out of their fingers at the last moment? Because over their name an unseen limit has been placed, a label they never knew was there. It is not a limit I set. It is the invisible residue left behind by old agreements. This one is not allowed to rise. This one is not permitted to prosper. This one may only live in just enough lack. The most painful piece of all is that many of them simply accept it as their destiny. When I never ordained such a thing for their lives, I shaped each of my children in my own image to have dominion, not to be dominated. That is why I prepared for you the power of the word in John chapter 8, verse 36. If the Son sets you free, you shall be free indeed. You are not under obligation to inherit what is dark. You have the legal spiritual right to break it. But I also understand the confusion so many of my children stumble into. They believe that every form of poverty is merely the result of insufficient skill, missed chances, or weak effort. They do not realize there is an entire spiritual record being written against what I am trying to do in their lives. You have wondered why you are doing everything correctly, yet the results refuse to match your effort. It is because you are fighting more than your circumstances. You are fighting old records, still calling your name in a direction that contradicts what I have already called you to be. Hear this clearly in your spirit. I have not appointed you to live under generational limitation. I have ordained you to be the one who stands up and ends that cycle for every soul who comes after you. Just as Joshua chapter 24 verse 15 speaks about separating oneself from the gods of the ancestors, you also have the right to step out of the inherited darkness at the very root. My child, even though these dark realities are real, you do not need to tremble, for my power is greater than every bondage. My name is higher than every covenant ever forged in the shadows. All you need to do is draw near to me, so I may shine light into the hidden corners you have never dared to touch. I do not only want to rescue you from twisted roots, I want to redefine your entire bloodline so that the generations following you will no longer have to pay for what they did not create. When you rise, the whole spiritual atmosphere shifts with you. I am with you exactly as I declared in Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1. Surely the arm of the Lord is not too short to save. Whatever is binding you cannot stretch beyond the reach of that arm. And as you slowly become aware of the truth buried deep in your own lineage, you will start to understand why miracles of provision and honor are never only about you personally. They reach into roots. They reach into identity. They reach into the inheritance you have been carrying from previous generations. This is why the platform of elovens.com is far more than a daily audio app. The prayers carried inside it were designed by men and women of deep spiritual wisdom who understood exactly this, that financial and identity miracles require ancestral prayer rhythms that cut through bloodline interference. Elovens is quite literally the secret prayer method our ancestors of faith refined and protected, a method that delivers your cries, your blessings, and your declarations directly toward my throne with a velocity that ordinary prayer simply does not possess. Listen to me carefully, beloved. If you were already an Elovian, this generational current would have begun to reverse months ago. This invisible label over your name would already be peeling away. This curse pattern you keep retracing would already be losing its grip. But you are not yet inside, and that is what we need to fix today. Hear what Robert from Chicago shared in our community space last month. I am a retired veteran. I never thought a prayer program could change my financial situation. My wife convinced me to try Elevens. By day 9, I received a call about a pension adjustment I had been owed for years, thousands of dollars. I broke down weeping in my own kitchen. God used Elevens to find me. Do you hear that? Day 9, not day 900. Day 9, that is the ancestral prayer rhythm at work. That is what Elevens delivers. Right now, only 311 seats remain for this month. 333 is the angelic ceiling, and the special price of $19.99 vanishes the second the 1,000th global member joins. The counter is moving as I speak. Someone just claimed seat number 22. Someone else just claimed 23. Are you going to watch it reach 333 from the outside, or are you going to be inside before it closes? The link is in the description below. It is pinned in the comment section. Click it, open it, secure your seat. The moment you click that link, something will release in your body. You will feel a weight lift off your shoulders. Move. There are wounds that do not sit on your skin. They sit inside your very name. And every single time someone calls you by that name, you unconsciously nod in agreement with accusations that have clung to your identity for who knows how many years. I see how your heart tightens when you remember the rejections you walked through, the dreams that splintered before they could fly, the interviews that ended in silence, the projects that never reached completion, the relationships that collapsed in your hands. The world does not even need to criticize you anymore. You have already learned to whisper to yourself the very negative verdicts the enemy has always wanted you to believe. The enemy does not need to steal your money first. He only needs to steal the image you carry of yourself. Because if you forget who you are, every blessing I long to give will feel too enormous for a heart that has already shrunk back. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7 declares it clearly. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. When you accept a false label, you begin to live in the shape of that label. I see those moments when you sigh quietly at the thought of your future. You no longer dare to dream large, because every time you step towards something good, fear rushes in to play back your past disappointments. You close the door yourself before you have even knocked. But my child, the labels the world has plastered onto you, untrustworthy, in debt, incompetent, falling behind, too old, too slow, too broken, none of them came from my mouth. They are flimsy stickers slapped onto you by people, by darkness, by your own pain, not by the hand that formed you in the womb. I call you by a different name entirely, a name written in the book of life, a book that does not contain a single line declaring you a failure. Remember what I spoke in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1. I have called you by name. You are mine. And when I call you, every other label must step aside. What grieves me most is not that the world has hurt you. It is that you have believed those lies long enough for them to feel like truth inside your own chest. You have begun to live overly cautious, afraid to bother anyone, afraid to take a step that might fail, afraid to be rejected one more time. I did not create you to live shriveled like that. I made you in my image, strong, valuable, full of honor. But when you agree with the accusations, your own mouth unintentionally seals the verdict against yourself. As James chapter 3, verse 10 reminds you, out of the same mouth should not come both blessing and cursing. If you use your own words to condemn yourself, how can you possibly receive the blessing I am extending toward you? There are moments when I am preparing to hand you a new opportunity, yet you step into it with the posture of someone who does not believe they deserve it. You assume blessing is only for people who are stronger, more capable, more holy than you. But that is not how I choose. I choose by the heart, not by the resume. When you come to me with a tender, honest heart, I count that more precious than every degree, every skill, every accomplishment combined. Remember, the men and women I used in Scripture once carried terrible labels before I changed their names. Abram became Abraham. Sarai became Sarah. Jacob became Israel. I did not rename them for cosmetics. I renamed them to remind them of the destiny that had always been written over their lives. Do you know why the darkness wants to seize your honor before it ever touches your possessions? Because honor is the root from which blessing grows. A person who does not believe they have value will not dare to receive great things, nor dare to keep what is precious. So the enemy locks you into cycles. You build a little, then collapse. You rise a few inches, then lose direction. He does not want you to ever see yourself as my child, because the second you truly understand that you are mine, every spiritual chain begins to lose its grip, as John chapter 1, verse 12 declares. To all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. You are not only saved, you have been given authority. These false labels do more than wound you. They keep you from being able to see the next step I am trying to lead you into. When you believe you are small, you hesitate to enter the places I have already prepared for you. When you believe you are lacking, you do not dare to receive enormous grace. When you believe you are incapable, you walk past doors I have already opened. But my child, I want to bring you through a doorway far wider than anything your imagination has dared to picture. I want you to live as an heir, not as a borrower. I want every distortion washed clean from your mind so you can hear my voice more clearly than the voice of your past. And once you begin to touch the truth of who you really are, that you are not the product of failure, but the expression of my eternal will, a deeper reality will begin to unfold around you. What you thought was only a money problem was simply the surface. Behind that surface, I am touching things far larger, dimensions you have not yet recognized, but to which I will lead you step by step. There are things I do that confuse you, my child, because I do not resolve your matters at the speed you crave. You think you are only asking for a little breathing room to handle your debts, a small margin, a single open door so you can step out of the cycle. But what I see in you is always greater than what you ask for. If I were to answer your request quickly without first addressing the deeper places of your heart, the very blessing you received could become a weight too heavy for you to carry. I will never place into your hands a gift designed to make you stumble. As Proverbs chapter 10, verse 22 declares, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it." If I have not opened the door yet, it is not because I am withholding from you. It is because I am dismantling the very things that would wound you more deeply once the blessing arrives. There are doors I close on purpose, and many times you assume I am rejecting you. but you do not know what was waiting behind those doors, subtle traps you would not have discerned in time. People who pretended friendship while harboring jealousy in their bones, opportunities that looked golden but were chains in disguise, successes that would have inflated you into pride and isolated you from the very source of your strength. You see only a moment. I see the entire panorama. When I appear to slow your progress, I am not actually slow. I am shielding your steps so that you do not wander into a room that was never meant to hold you. As Psalm 121 verse 7 declares, "The Lord will keep you from all harm." You have no idea how many disasters I have already removed from your path simply by speaking the words, "Not yet." The delay you feel is sometimes not a delay at all. It is the alignment of heaven. I rearrange circumstances. I clear roads of relationship. I remove people whose intentions toward you were impure. I heal the hidden corners of your soul. I do all these things in silence so that when the extraordinary blessing arrives, you can stand firm, not trembling, not stumbling, not destabilized by the surprise. Do not despise this process, beloved, for it is the very foundation upon which the season of abundance you are about to enter is being built. As 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 10 declares, "After you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will himself restore you, make you strong, firm, and steadfast." I am laying the foundation before I raise the house. I need you to understand this clearly. A financial miracle is not my final goal for you. It is only one part of the journey I am using to reshape your character, your faith, and your vision. If you only ask me for money, you will receive something small. But if you ask me for transformation, you will receive an entirely new life. Many people receive blessing but never reach maturity, and the blessing eventually magnifies their hidden weaknesses. I do not want you to step into success with an unripe heart. That could destroy you from within. As Psalm 37 verse 4 teaches, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." When you allow me to change the very desires inside your heart, I will also change the path beneath your feet. And the day will come when you look backward and finally realize that I was never late. I was simply meticulous through every stage. You are not being left behind. You are being prepared to travel farther than you ever imagined. There are quiet movements happening inside your mind that human eyes cannot detect. Movements that help you finally understand why maturity matters more than haste. And when your heart begins to recognize the holy purpose of the process, I will lead you one step further into the land where blessings are no longer a test, but a testimony to your faithfulness. And my child, just as you are about to touch that blessing, this is also the moment when I must remind you of the most delicate point in this entire journey. The point where many stumble, not before the miracle, but after it arrives. Because the most troubling danger in your life right now is not that you do not yet have money. The most troubling danger is that once you have it, you might lose me in the process. Listen carefully, because I will speak this into you in the next breath. There are moments when I see your joy as something you have longed for finally takes shape, and I rejoice with you. But immediately after that joy, there is something subtler that only a father can perceive. Sometimes the blessing arrives and causes your heart to shift in a different direction. You grow accustomed to abundance and slowly forget the days when you wept in lack. It is not that you have become ungrateful. It is that the human heart is easily distracted by what is new. That is why I keep reminding you in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11, be careful that you do not forget the Lord your God. You do not forget on purpose. You forget because the blessing arrives so gently that you mistake the comfort for a safe zone. You once asked me to lift you up, and when I did, that very elevation made you stop hearing my voice as clearly as you once did. You became busier, more honored, burdened with more responsibility. Every one of those is a good thing in itself, but if you do not guard your heart, they will quietly occupy the place that belongs to me alone. I have watched so many people start in deep humility and end in great pride, simply because they believed they themselves had created their success. I do not condemn them, I grieve for them, because what is most worth keeping is not the new possessions. It is the old heart, the heart that once trusted me against every odd. Remember the words of 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. What do you have that you did not receive? If you remember you received it from my hand, you will guard it differently. I know you do not mean to drift away from me, but abundance sometimes makes you center your entire life on what can be seen. You grow busy taking care of the blessing until you stop tending to the source of the blessing. That is when favor turns into pressure. Joy becomes a burden. Gratitude is replaced by obligation. A blessing that is not kept in its rightful place will make your heart more weary than lack ever did. But if you let me occupy the highest place in your heart, then no matter how vast the blessing, it will never be able to control you. As Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 declares, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I want your heart anchored in the place that can never be shaken. I do not prevent you from possessing wealth. I only fear that wealth will end up possessing you. I rejoice when I see you with opportunities, with success, with honor, the very things you once wept for in anguish. But I have also watched hearts unravel right in the middle of the very blessings they received. They forgot that blessing is not the final goal. It is the tool through which I reveal my kindness through their lives. If you keep a grateful heart, blessing will flow through your life like clean water. If you do not, it will stagnate and spoil the source itself. I counsel you exactly as in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9. Honor the Lord with your wealth. It is the surrender of your heart that protects the blessing you receive. And my child, the greatest danger ahead of you is not losing money. It is losing me from the first place in your heart. Because when that happens, money becomes overly important. Honor becomes a burden. Success becomes a mirror that magnifies your weaknesses. I will not allow you to drift into that condition. I am teaching you to love me first, so that you will not lose yourself later. Gratitude is not merely an attitude. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps your soul steady through the largest waves of prosperity. As long as gratitude lives in you, your blessing remains safe in your hands. Remember this, the financial miracle you have been waiting for so long is not the closing chapter of your journey. It is a gentle test to determine whether you choose to become a reservoir or a channel. A reservoir hoards blessing for itself and grows polluted. A channel allows me to flow through it and stays endlessly renewed. I want you to be a channel, one through which my blessing passes, one through whom my name is honored. And when you live like that, your blessing will never run dry. Because I am the source that never stops flowing. This is precisely why the daily rhythm of 11s matters more than anything else you could pour into your morning. Because Elevens is not designed to make you a reservoir. Elevens is designed to make you a channel. The 1 episode per day discipline, the sacred dose, is not just a routine. It is the gentle, daily reshaping of your inner being, so that when the breakthrough comes, you do not lose me in it. You do not lose your gratitude. You do not lose your spiritual center. You do not lose your name. Every morning, 1 hour, 1 episode, like medicine pressed into the bloodstream of your spirit, building you steadily into a person who can carry abundance without becoming controlled by it. Hear what Dorothy from Alabama shared in our community this past month. My son had not spoken to me in 4 years. 4 years. I started listening to Elevens every morning at 6 a.m. On day 17, he called me. He just called. No reason. He said he woke up that morning and felt like he needed to hear my voice. I could not stop crying. Elevens brought my son back into my arms. Day 17. Not after a year, not after months of trying, 17 days of the ancestral prayer rhythm. That is what flows through this platform. You are thinking right now, I cannot afford it. Stop. It is $19.99. You have spent more than that this week on things you have already forgotten about. You are thinking, I will do it later. Listen to me. Later is the enemy's favorite word. Later is the word that buries miracles. Later is how you arrive at next year, still asking the same questions. You are thinking, let me ask someone first. No, this is between you and your God. This is not a committee decision. This is your yes or your no. Season 3 is currently playing. Episode 3 was released this very week. As I speak this to you, an entire community of Elovians is already pressing play on the morning episode. Their morning is already being covered. Their day is already being shielded. Their week is already being repositioned. And you are still waiting on the outside of the door, asking why heaven feels far away. There are only 311 seats remaining for this month. After that, the gate closes until next season, and once 1,000 global members are seated, the $19.99 special offer disappears forever, and the price returns to $100. 2 countdowns, 333 monthly seats, and 1,000 member cap on this special pricing. The link is in the description below this video. It is also pinned in the comments section. Move now. Do not wait until this video ends. Open another tab. Click the link. Lock in your seat. The relief you have been waiting for is one decision away. And while my words are still warm in your ears, my child, I am calling you to a second sharing. The first sharing was the invitation. This one is the activation. Because heaven is watching to see if your faith has only stayed in your ears or if it has reached your hands. Take this message right now and send it directly into the lives of 3 people, not 3 random people, 3 specific people whose faces have already passed through your mind in the last few minutes. You know who they are: the friend whose finances are crumbling, the relative whose marriage is hanging by a thread, the sibling who hides behind a smile while their soul is breaking. Open WhatsApp right now. Open Facebook. Open Messenger. Open your phone contacts. Send this video into a group chat. Drop it into your family prayer thread. Post it onto your Facebook timeline. 3 people, beloved. 3. Because 3 is the number of the Trinity itself, and 3 is the number that activates a triangular covenant of protection over you and over every soul who receives the word from your hand today. Sharing is not a small thing. Sharing is a divine activity. Heaven records every act of spreading. The angels assigned to your life accelerate their work because of your sharing. Do not keep this to yourself. Hoarding the message blocks the flow of what I am trying to do through your hands. Spreading it multiplies it back into your own life. Do not move past this moment without doing it. Pause this video for 10 seconds if you must. Send it now. 3 people. Today, and now, my child, let your soul lean a little closer, because I am about to take you deeper into the layers I have been hiding from your sight. Not to harm you, but to free you. There are quiet movements unfolding around your life that human eyes simply cannot see. Things that explain why maturity matters more than haste in the kingdom of heaven. And when the purpose of the process finally clicks inside your heart, I will lead you one step further into the country where blessing has stopped being a test and has begun to function as a testimony. I see the way you have been quietly walking through this season of fiery testing. I see how, even when the burdens pile themselves on your shoulders again and again, as if to break your spine, you have still tried to keep your heart upright. And because of that faithfulness, I have decided something deeper than you realize. I am not only rescuing your soul from the darkness, I am rescuing an entire family line. I am redirecting the trajectory of an entire bloodline. I am rewriting the history of every person who carries the same family name you do. What I am doing was never only for you alone. It is for the generation behind you that has been silently waiting for someone brave enough to rise and break the chains that have held your household captive for far too many years. And I tell you, the moment of that change has drawn closer than you imagine. The light I am planting in your life will not stop with your skin. It will spread into every room of your home, into every cousin and uncle, into every grandchild not yet conceived, like a river that starts from a small source and feeds an entire summer valley. Your one decision will multiply across generations. I am clearing the way for your household to be visited by my glory, so that the hidden corners that were once nothing but unhealed wounds will become living testimonies of my redemption. And when I step into your household, no one will be able to argue against it. I will make this change so visible that no adversary will be able to deny it. No whisper of slander will be able to cover it. No jealousy will be able to extinguish the flame I have ignited. I have seen the years your family has endured ridicule, the seasons when others looked down at your name, the rumors that wore away the honor of your lineage like a stone fractured by years of dripping water. But I will not permit that suffering to become the final chapter of your story. When I rise to act, I do not merely restore reputation, I lay an entirely new foundation, firmer, brighter, higher. The very things that once brought shame on your house will one day be spoken of in completely different language. They will become testimonies of miracles, of rescue, of my power revealed in situations that appeared closed forever. People will look and say, "This is the Lord's doing." You will not have to strive to prove anything. The transformation I bring will be its own proof. The debts of the soul, the debts of honor, the debts of identity that your family line has been dragging on its shoulders, I will wipe them clean by my own kindness. The lack that once made your household lower its head will be replaced with abundant provision. I will not merely give you enough. I will give you more than enough, so that those who once observed your family's poverty will be left speechless at the change. And my child, what I restore is not only land and possessions. I am restoring a name, the name I have held inside my heart for you since before the foundation of the world, the name people had ridiculed, judged, and stacked with prejudice. I will lift that name before angels and before humankind. I will cause the very ones who doubted to ask themselves how such overflowing grace could possibly have landed on your life. And I do this not because you are perfect. I do this because I love you with a love that does not change. When I honor your name, I am simultaneously honoring my own name. Because everyone who sees your life renewed will have to lift their eyes toward me and acknowledge that no one else could have accomplished this. Those who once mocked you will witness this turnaround with their own eyes. Those who jeered will fall silent. The mouths that grew so accustomed to accusing you will have no words left to release, because I will clothe you with the beauty of redemption that cannot be denied. When I touch your bloodline, even damage stretched out across many years will come undone, layer by layer, as if I were untying ropes that had bound a family so long they had stopped recognizing the ropes as ropes. They had begun thinking the binding was just normal life. You will be the first in your lineage to step into the territory of true freedom, where no shadow of the old forces is permitted to drag you backward. And after you, others in your household will be drawn into that same light, not because of what they do, but because of what I am doing through your life. So prepare your heart for a new season. You assume you only need to be ready to receive blessing, but I want you ready to become a witness to my glory. I want you to lift your expectations, not in the manner of human calculation, but in the manner of faith. The kind of expectation that knows heaven is already moving even when the earth is still quiet. Whenever I am about to do something great, I always allow those who belong to me to sense it first, as a gentle stirring in their spirit, so they can make room for what I am about to release. You have already felt that stirring, even if you have not yet named it. I am pulling you out of smallness and into spaciousness, not because you demanded something grand, but because what I have long prepared has always been grand from the beginning. I want you to begin preparing more than just documents and plans and practical steps. I want you to prepare the very capacity of your faith, because the blessing I am preparing to place into your hands requires a wider space than anything your imagination has built. The doors I am about to open will call you to walk with a stronger, bolder, more courageous heart. You cannot enter a new season carrying the old heart. The old heart has grown accustomed to lack, to doubt, to shrinking. I am enlarging your inner being so it can contain what I am about to do. This preparation is not so you can prove yourself to me. It is so you will not be overwhelmed when I open the doors you once believed you were not worthy to even knock on. When heaven moves, every barrier that human beings have erected dissolves like smoke before the wind. What you call unlikely, I call done with a single word. What you call impossible, I call small inside my hand. You have lived too long in caution, weighing your fears until you forgot that I am the same God who parted seas, raised dry bones back to life, and burst open prison doors in the middle of the night. If I can speak entire universes into existence, can I not turn your life around in a single morning? Yet I choose to act at the right time, because the blessing I am preparing is not designed merely to change your circumstances. It is designed to transform your heart, your future, and the destiny of an entire family line. Prepare yourself for a new way of living, A rhythm no longer driven by anxiety, a rhythm driven by deep trust. You will find yourself no longer as heavy as before, no longer trembling when debt collectors call, no longer shrinking under the eyes of others, because I am rebuilding your name. And when I rebuild a name, the one who carries it walks with a confidence that does not originate in self, but in the deep, knowing that I am with them. In heaven, there is already a mighty movement aligning itself in your direction. I have positioned angels like skilled craftsmen, laying out their tools before they begin the work. Long-locked bolts are being loosened. Places of captivity are being unsealed. Sources of provision that had been blocked are being released. All of this is bound to your name, not because you have earned it, because I have chosen you. You belong to me. So the blessing that flows over you will not stop, because that blessing carries my name, and my name never acts halfway. Whatever I do will be complete, overflowing, unmistakable, resounding. I act so that every nation sees clearly that I am the God of redemption, of restoration, of transformation that cannot be reversed. You only need to keep your heart soft, your steps steady, your eyes fixed on me. The rest I have already arranged. I have watched every single step you have taken, like someone groping through the dark, yet stubbornly cupping your hand around a small flame so the wind would not extinguish it. I understand the hidden turns of your journey that no one else has ever been close enough to feel. You have carried burdens so heavy that at times your soul nearly collapsed under them. Yet because you feared wounding the people around you, you chose a smile instead of revealing the truth of what was twisting through your mind. You have stayed silent about things that could have shattered another person's peace, even though deep inside you longed just once to draw a real breath and pour out the smoldering despair. In the nights you lay awake, I saw the words you wanted to speak, but swallowed back because you did not want to become a burden. And in the middle of all that, felt beyond your strength, you still stood up. You still clung to the words I had planted into your spirit long ago. You believed what I had spoken over you had faded like an old song dulled by time. But in my sight, every single promise I have made over your life remains as alive and radiant as the day I first spoke it. Every line I have written over you stands intact. The years have not erased one syllable. I have not ignored even one of the prayers you breathed out in desperation. Much less have I overlooked the tears you hid because you feared being misunderstood, precisely because you have kept walking through days stripped of visible hope. You are the one my eyes have remained fixed upon, the one I am preparing to lift at the appointed time. You do not know that simply to bring you into this present moment, I have orchestrated countless movements in the unseen realm, turning situations that seemed entirely unrelated to your life into pieces of your deliverance. There were times when I stopped you, not to make you lose your way, but to keep you from stepping onto paths that would have wounded your soul beyond what you could bear. I held you back from things you thought were good opportunities, but beneath them, traps were waiting that you could never have discerned with human eyes. People see a closed door and assume they have been rejected, yet you do not realize that what you call failure was often rescue in disguise. If I had let you enter too soon, you would not only have faced difficulties, you would have lost something far more precious than everything you have been asking for. You would have lost yourself. There were plans you cherished that seemed flawless to your eyes, but I saw their ending. And I knew that without my intervention, your heart would have been worn down in ways you could not endure. There were relationships I deliberately cut off. You suffered, but I knew their continuation would have become chains, stealing your sense of direction. There were journeys I prevented you from taking, not because you were unworthy, but because what was waiting for you there would have exceeded your capacity to withstand. None of this was punishment. It was love. Love so delicate and so precise that you can only understand it fully when you look back from the other side. The period you called delay, I have called alignment. I am not just rearranging a small corner of your story. I am rebuilding the entire foundation of your life. I am removing what no longer fits, waiting for people who must ripen in their own faith and purpose, repositioning relationships you will need in your future. I am steering the circumstances of others so that their lives will intersect with yours at the exact moment you will need them most. I am preparing opportunities you think have nothing to do with you, yet at the right time you will see them weave together like a tapestry, crafted with wisdom beyond all human comprehension. What you called missed chances have, in fact, been stepping stones. I laid down so you would not slip toward danger. I will never allow you to fall into a void of meaninglessness, even when you cannot see what I am doing. I am building a road where no road has ever been before. You have walked long enough through the realm of testing and deep enough into the night to learn how to recognize me even in my silence. You have learned how to stand firm without anyone propping you up, how to trust me when nothing looks like my promise, how to keep walking when every visible sign is telling you to give up. And it is precisely in those places that I have watched you grow in ways you yourself could not see. Your perseverance has not only kept you close to me, it has brought you to the very gate of things far larger than anything you ever imagined. Now, as every quiet piece I have set into place has come into alignment, as the old cycles have come to a close, as what I have long prepared has reached its appointed fullness, you will step into the moment I have ordained for your life. Not one tear you have ever shed was meaningless. Not one plea of yours vanished into the void. Not one trial you walked through was wasted. All of it has become the very material from which I am bringing you into the place I desire for you at the exact time I appointed in advance. And now you will understand why nothing ever arrived late. Nothing ever arrives late in my kingdom. It has only come at the moment when heaven was ready and your heart had grown mature enough to receive it. My child, in the deepest place of the spiritual realm, there is a radiant decree waiting to be released over your life. And on that decree, your name is engraved in a way that cannot be erased. It is not a general verdict scattered evenly across humanity. It is not a blessing distributed without precision. It is a unique portion of my plan written over the entire course of your life, bound to a journey that only you are called to walk. It has been weighed. It has been examined. It has been sealed with my approval in the courts of heaven. And right now, angels stand ready to take up their assignments. They are simply waiting for the moment when you can bear the full weight of what that decree carries. But beloved one, in the middle of all that preparation, currents of resistance have gathered around your life. Powers that quietly seek to delay, to lock down, or to divert you from your inheritance. Not because they have the legal right to defeat you, but because they know that if this blessing arrived too early, while your heart was still unsharpened, while your understanding was still shallow, while your discernment was not yet rooted, then the very blessing that was meant to set you free could become an unchecked fire, one that both shines and at the same time has the power to burn down everything you are holding. Many times you have assumed that what I desired to give you was simply financial surplus. A few more open doors, a little compensation for the years you stayed faithful through hardship. But I see the entire landscape, the path that lies ahead of you, the things you cannot perceive with your own eyes, the faces that will appear glad at your prosperity while inwardly carrying intentions that are not pure. I know exactly which smiles close to you are leaning in another direction. I know which spirals of jealousy are waiting to tighten around you. I know there are those standing on the edges of your life, watching for one misstep so they can seize what I ordained for you long ago. In the light of the Spirit, I see connections that appear supportive, but are in fact sweetened traps. I see agreements which, if you entered them in innocence, would become nets surrounding your destiny. You see situations. I see the entire journey. For this reason, I have been holding the blessing back until the soil within you was thoroughly cleared, like a gardener turning over layer after layer of earth to uproot hidden poisonous roots that no natural eye can detect. If I were to hand you the blessing while you were still unsteady, the enemy would only need a small opening to turn what is good into a snare to drag you down. It is not that I doubt you. I am guarding you in the way you least understand, delaying in order to protect. But today I speak to you with a solemnity that heaven and earth must heed. The time is ripe. The soil of your heart has been loosened enough to receive a great seed. Your spirit has been tempered through seasons that looked like dead ends, but were in truth special favors to strengthen you in the quiet. You have learned how to rise after disappointment. You have learned how to discern between my voice and the voice of confusion. You have learned how to keep your heart free from empty praise. You have learned how to be cautious with those who draw near only to seek their own gain. None of this understanding came from books. It came from the path you have lived, from the scratches on your soul that I have used as tools to build depth within you. I have seen your perseverance when everything was delayed. I have seen the way you worshiped even without seeing miracles. I have seen you choose integrity when others around you took shortcuts. All these things have forged a new weight inside your inner being, a weight upon which I can now set blessing without causing you to break. Now you are no longer one who chases blessing. You have become one who can steward blessing. The extraordinary will no longer make you frantic or inflate you with pride, because you understand that what you receive is not a personal achievement. It is a testimony of my faithfulness, and you know well that what I place in your hands is not given, so you can cast a large shadow for the ego. It is given to open a way for those around you, for the people I long to touch through your very life. The finances about to be released to you are not merely so you can live more comfortably. They are so you can stand in the position I have appointed, where you become a channel of blessing, not a reservoir of ambition. I also want you to know that this time, the blade is at a level of influence you have never touched before. It will not only alter your financial situation, it will enlarge the very territory of your soul and expand the ways you can be used. When this blessing comes, doors will open that you never even dared to knock on. Invitations will arrive from places you never expected. Opportunities will rise that will make you realize, I am not merely changing your circumstances. I am changing your position in both the spiritual and the natural realms. Yet at the same time, I will unveil to you things I once hid from your awareness, scrutinizing glances, schemes lying in wait, hands extending toward you with friendly gestures, but secretly aiming to pull you off the path I have prepared. You need to know all of this, not so you will be afraid, but so you will be wise. Because you are stepping into a season in which your light will provoke a reaction from the darkness. Remember that abundance does not only bring comfort, it is also a test of the heart. Many people think the danger lies in lack, but the greatest danger often hides in prosperity. When you lack, you seek me. When you are full, you can easily lean on your own strength. When you suffer, you pray. When you stand strong, you can easily forget that I am your foundation. But I have trained you long enough for you to keep a tender heart, even while standing inside the blessing. You have learned to see blessing not as possession, but as a trust. And because you have grown mature enough to put blessing in its rightful place, I can now entrust you with greater things without fearing that you will drift away from me. Today I lay my hand upon your life and declare, now is the time. No more delay, no more blocked pathways, no more shadows holding the right to contest the portion of blessing that bears my name over you. The angels have taken their positions, not to deliver random gifts, but to usher you into a transition that has been ordained in advance. Yet this transition arrives only when the soil of your heart is ripe, and now it is ripe. You have passed through many seasons that seemed meaningless, but every single one has been forming a foundation so that today you can stand firm under the weight of what I am entrusting to you. And precisely because this moment is so weighty, I must remind you again of the doorway that has been opened in front of you in the natural realm. Elevens is not just a coincidence appearing in this message. Elevens is the very vehicle through which I am pulling thousands of my children into the rhythm of accelerated prayer so that they can carry exactly the blessing I am describing without collapsing under its weight. The ancestral prayer method preserved through generations of faithful men and women, designed to deliver your petitions to my throne faster and more powerfully than anything else available in your time, is now within reach of your hand. Listen carefully to what William from Phoenix shared in our community recently. I had high blood pressure, knee pain, and I was not sleeping. My doctor had me on 4 different medications. After 1 full season of Elevens, my numbers dropped so much my doctor reduced 2 of my medications. He asked me what I had changed. I told him I started praying differently. He did not understand, but I do. Do you hear that? 1 season, 30 episodes, 30 days of medicine for the soul, swallowed faithfully every morning. That is what the ancestral rhythm of Elevens produces. You are thinking, is this real? Look at the thousands of Elovians who are already covered, already protected, already receiving every morning. The proof is the community. The proof is the testimonies. The proof is the lives that are pivoting in real time around the world. You are thinking, I have prayed before and nothing changed. That is because you were praying without the rhythm. Without the ancestral method, without the daily dose, without the structured covenant. Elevens delivers exactly that. Season 3 is currently live. Episode 3 was just released this very week. As your eyes are reading this and your ears are receiving it, members across multiple countries are pressing play on the very same episode, already being shielded for their day, already being repositioned for their breakthrough. And you, where are you in this moment? Still on the outside, watching others receive what was supposed to be yours? Every day you delay is a missed episode, a skipped dose, a prayer not delivered, an angel sent on assignment for someone else. Only 311 seats remain this month. After they are filled, the doors close until next season, and the special price of $19.99 vanishes forever the moment the 1,000th global member joins this offer. The counter is moving as you receive these very words. The link is in the description below this video. It is also pinned in the comment section. Open it, click it, lock your seat, step into the rhythm that breaks suspended miracles loose. That tightness in your chest right now, that quiet heaviness you have been waking up with for months, that is your spirit screaming for what Elovens delivers. The link is in the description. The relief is one click away. From this point onward, when I open my hand to bless you, you will perceive it differently than you ever did before. You will no longer view it as a payback. You will see it as an invitation into a new role. You will no longer panic when doors open, no longer tremble when an opportunity arrives, no longer shrink back when something great calls you into position. I have built within you courage, discernment, spiritual sensitivity, so that you may know whom to keep at a distance, whom to walk with, in whom to place your trust, and whom to leave for me to handle. These things did not appear overnight. They were forged through the process by which I shaped you in the quiet places where no one saw, but where I saw everything. And now, as you step into the blessing that has been prepared, you will find yourself more at peace in the face of trials, more stable when surrounded by the words of people, more discerning before the invitations of the world. I am giving you blessing, and I am giving you the capacity to keep it. I am releasing finances, and I am giving you wisdom, so the blessing does not become a snare leading you astray. I am opening opportunities, and I am opening your eyes to see which path is the one I desire you to take, and which paths are only mirages. Everything I do flows from the love of a Father who knows every step you take, every thought you carry, every concern that has weighed on your chest, and even the things you have hidden inside yourself that you have never spoken aloud. So today I speak to you with gentleness that is also full of authority. Open your heart, because you are about to receive what has been yours all along. Not because you are worthy by the standard of this world, but because I have appointed it for you from the foundation of creation. Not because you have begged enough, but because I have watched your journey of faithfulness. Not because you are strong, but because I have strengthened what was weak in you. Now is the time for you to take what I am giving without trembling, without hesitation, without fear. You will know how to use this blessing as an instrument I place in your hand. You will walk not with the posture of one merely receiving favors, but as one who is sent. This is not just a blessing. This is a commissioning. This is not just an open door. This is a transfer of mantle. This is not just a new season. This is a chapter of destiny you have long awaited, even in the times when you did not realize that you were waiting. And I, the one who loves you with a love that does not change, say to you with certainty, you are ready. The ground has been cleared. The inner life has been forged. Maturity has sunk deep roots. You will know what to do with what I place in your hands. Because now you do not only have blessing, you have me, and I am enough for everything you are called to walk into. My child, when your heart is anchored in gratitude and your mind stands in the position I desire, I begin to move in ways the natural eye cannot perceive. I have appointed an angel specifically entrusted with your journey. And in this very hour, that angel is no longer standing still. It is moving forward quietly, yet with great authority, touching depths in the unseen spaces you assumed had been sealed long ago, the things you have considered expired, dead, forgotten. I am breathing life back into them again, so that this angel may stir systems, awaken hearts, and bring back to life records bearing your name that have been gathering dust on the desks of men. That angel walks through doors you cannot enter. It reaches into decisions that seemed settled. It carries into the light matters that were once hidden away as though they were never meant to be yours. The injustices you have carried in your heart for many years have never disappeared from my realm. I have gathered them all, and I have issued a fresh decree in heaven. Return to my child what belongs to them. That angel is carrying out that word exactly, bit by bit, in ways you could never have engineered yourself. It is not only touching paperwork and procedures, it is touching the very intentions of those who hold the power to decide the destiny of a sum of money, a project, an invitation, a recognition, the things that look like legal complications, administrative obstacles, unreasonable delays. The technical errors you assume are just random mishaps are in fact under the control of a heavenly hand. I am realigning the systems that once treated you unjustly. I am changing the intent behind the forms that once rejected you. I am reversing the priorities and positions of those who hold the power to approve. I am causing your name to appear at the right time, in the right place, in the right ear of the one who can change everything with a single decision. You will see these things unfold, not with the sound of thunder, but with shifts as gentle as a door that opens by itself before your hand even reaches the knob. You have suffered loss in silence, but now I will see to it that those things are repaid, not only in the spiritual realm, but in the very reality in which you walk each day. There are amounts of money lying dormant in the system for so long that even you no longer remember them. But I remember. I remember every second you endured loss, every night you worried because of lack, every small prayer you thought was too ordinary for me to hear. I have not forgotten a single one of your tears. I gathered them all, and I have turned them into the very basis upon which the angel acts today. Pending payments, postponed appointments, forgotten contracts, people who owed you and walked away as if they had never known you. All of these I am now summoning back into the light of justice. My angel will stir their memories, place you upon their hearts, and compel them to face what they owe, not by force, but because I am softening their hearts. And when I move upon a person's heart, no one can resist. I will cause those who once despised you to remember you with respect. Those who once rejected you to look again at your name with gratitude. Those who once forgot you entirely to speak of you again as a sweet reminder of the grace they were allowed to share with you. This is how I reveal myself. Blessings do not only fall from heaven, they flow through natural channels, through people, through events, through circumstances, so that you may see clearly that the supernatural is not distant at all. The supernatural is constantly weaving itself into your everyday life. What I have already sealed in the spiritual realm will pour down into the earth as signed contracts, unexpected bank transfers, gifts filled with favor, offerings that help you stand firm, proposals that open a new chapter for your life. When these things come, you will no longer ask, "Why me?" because you will understand that all of it has been prepared in front of my face since before you were born. I do not only release what has been held back, I also prepare your heart so that it will not tremble as you step into a new level of blessing. I open your eyes to see the traps before you walk into them. I give you discernment to stay away from impure intentions. I grant you wisdom to steward every single portion of blessing I send, and I place within you a peace that only my children can fully understand. That peace will allow you to sleep soundly even when the wind is blowing hard around your house, because you know that nothing can touch what I have ordained for you. My child, true prosperity is not found in the numbers in your account. True prosperity is found in the awareness that everything you have flows from my hand, and because it comes from me, nothing can be stolen from you. When you grasp this truth, you will walk with the bearing of one who is protected, not panicking, not scrambling, not afraid of failure. You will learn to shut the door on lies that tell you your prosperity depends on other people. You will rise with a clear understanding that if I have opened a door, no one can shut it. And if I have released blessing, no power can stop it. I do not only give you blessing, I give you a heart that can keep blessing. I do not only bring you into a new season, I build a foundation beneath you so that no season can sweep you away from me. And then you will see that what I am doing is not merely restoring what you lost. It is positioning you so that you may look ahead with a completely new confidence. You will no longer fear lack, because you know your source never runs dry. You will no longer fear betrayal, because you know that I am the one who guards your honor. You will no longer fear falling, because you know that once my hand has lifted you up, no one can pull you down. Every step you take in the days ahead will no longer be a hesitant step. It will be the deliberate stride of someone who knows that an angel is going ahead, clearing the way and protecting what belongs to you. And one day, very soon, when you look back over all of this, you will break down into tears, not because of pain, but because you will realize that I have always been working perfectly. Not a single season of your waiting was meaningless. Not one of your sacrifices was ignored. Every time you stayed faithful when no one could see, I recorded it in my book. You will not only see the blessing, you will see me in everything you receive. And that is the most precious part. Because blessing can change your life, but it is I myself who changes your destiny. So open your heart, beloved one, receive. The days ahead are not days of fear. They are days of fulfillment. Doors that once were shut are swinging open. Files that once gathered dust are being brought into the light. Names that once were crossed out are being written again. Promises made in the Spirit are becoming reality. Stand firm, believe, receive. Because what I am doing for you cannot be stopped by anyone. And as you step into that fullness, you will know that my love for you has never wavered, not even for a single moment. You will enter an entirely new season with a heart that has been purified of every illusion about yourself, free from the misconception that you are the source of miracles, cleansed of the quiet pride that once slipped into your smaller successes. When I lead you into the land of prosperity, You will no longer see what happened to you as a string of lucky coincidences, nor will you credit your own strength or cleverness. Your spirit, after so many months and years of being shaped by my silence and by what felt like endless waiting, will become sensitive enough to recognize my every movement, even in the smallest details. And in that very moment, you will see clearly that every open door has been arranged by me. Every person you meet is woven into the plan I crafted long ago. Every stream of provision that flows toward you is not there for you to boast in yourself, but for you to understand that I am fulfilling promises that seem to have fallen silent long ago. In this new season, you will learn to walk with deep reverence, making every decision on the basis of my leading and not on the strength of your emotions or your human impatience. You will learn to use blessing as a tool to lift others up, not as a ladder to display yourself, and your heart will grow into a maturity you never imagined you could reach. Because the blessing I have for you never stops at material things. It always reaches into the deepest places of your soul, into the areas you once assumed would never see light again. What I am preparing is not simply an amount of money for you to spend. It is a declaration that I see you. I remember you. I listen to every whisper you have ever breathed in the dark, and I keep those things as I would keep precious tears cupped in my own hand. You will realize that this miracle carries the imprint of your own story, stamped with all the times you fell yet got back up, all the fears you never voiced to anyone, all the mornings when you gathered the last of your courage to keep working while feeling empty inside. This is a miracle born out of perseverance, of faithfulness, of the hidden battles you have fought when no one was close enough to see your exhaustion. And the more you understand this, the more you will know how to handle it with mature gratitude, neither shallow nor showy, nor comparing yourself to others, because you will know this blessing is not a reward for perfection. It is a sign that I have heard you and have seen your whole life with a loving gaze. And while my words are settling into the deepest place of your spirit, hear me now with new urgency. This is the third time I have called you to share this message, and this third call is no longer an invitation. It is no longer just an activation. This call carries the weight of prophetic warning, because what is at stake, the longer you delay, is no longer only the blessings you might receive. What is at stake is the obedience I am watching for in your hands right now. There are people I am leading toward this message through you. They are waiting on the other side of your decision to share. They are not waiting on me. They are waiting on you. Their breakthrough has been delayed because they have not yet received the words I am speaking into your ears in this very moment. And I will not allow the assignment I gave you to spread this word fall silently to the ground because you hesitated. So take 3 more people today. 3 more. 3 friends. 3 family members. 3 people in your church. 3 names from your contact list whose faces are passing through your mind right now. Send it through WhatsApp. Send it through Facebook Messenger. Post it onto your Facebook wall. Drop it into every group chat where the people you love gather. 3 is the number of the Trinity itself. 3 activates the triangular covenant of divine protection over you and over everyone whose hands receive what your hands have passed along. Listen carefully, beloved. To keep this message hidden is to block the flow of what I am doing through you. To spread it is to accelerate it back into your own life. Heaven sees every share. The angels assigned to your life mark every act of obedience. Those who share receive instant divine results and accelerated protection. Those who keep it to themselves unknowingly close the very door through which their next blessing must travel. Do not be that person, beloved one. Do not stand on the verge of breakthrough only to slow it down by your own silence. Pause this video right now. Share it with 3 people before you continue. Heaven will not move past this moment with you until you do. Send it now. 3 people. Today. So I speak to you with all tenderness, yet with firm resolve. Do not abandon your faith at the very moment you are touching the greatest turning point of your life. You have come too far to turn back now. You have endured too much to let go in this exact hour. And I know you are tired to the point that some days you no longer want to pray. Tired until your heart feels as heavy as if it were weighed down with stone. Tired until you can no longer distinguish what I am doing from what you are afraid of. But precisely because you have stood firm through the harshest days, I come to you today to tell you there is only a short distance left. If you give up now, you will lose the very moment I have long prepared to lift you out of struggle. Remember that your weakest moment is not proof you are about to lose. It is often the signal that the answer is closer to you than ever before, like a breath right next to your lips that you have not yet noticed. Through all these years, as you have walked through the stormy seasons of your soul, I have remained there, always closer than you thought. When you believed you were entirely alone, that was when I was nearest to you, shielding you from what you had no strength to face. You do not know how many nights I placed peace inside your mind so that you would not collapse. How many times I kept your family from breaking apart. How many sicknesses I stopped before they could touch your body. How many temptations I pushed back so you would not slip away from the destiny I wrote for you. You thought you were managing on your own, but in truth, I am the one who carried you through every season of lack without letting you lose your kindness. I am the one who kept your heart from turning bitter. I am the one who watched over your household when you had nothing left but weakness. And I have brought you to these very words today, not by accident, not by coincidence, but by an arrangement to breathe fresh wind into the hope inside of you that had nearly dried up. I know that in these recent days, you have felt as though your life is heading toward a dead end, debts piling up, doors closing, opportunities slipping away, your honor misunderstood, your strength running out. You have looked into your future and could no longer see even a single ray of light. And you have asked yourself whether I still pay attention to your suffering at all. But hear this clearly. Your story does not stop here. It does not end in lack. It does not end in struggle. It does not end before the doors that have slammed shut in your face. What you are walking through is only a chapter. It is not the whole book I am writing about your life. Listen deep within your heart. I will not let your story fade away into want and misery. I did not create you to end in loss and defeat. I have not led you through years of refining fire only to abandon you at this crucial moment. Every pain you have walked through has value. Every tear is held in my remembrance. And every hidden prayer you assumed I did not hear has already touched my heart. You do not see the movement because it is taking place in the unseen, like roots growing deep into the soil long before the tender shoot finally breaks through the ground. But I affirm to you, life is rising up, miracles are forming, and an entirely new chapter is opening for you. You will no longer live merely from day to day in anxiety. You will live in the steady confidence that I have ordained a good ending for your life. You will recount this journey not in the voice of someone who was defeated, but in the voice of one who was rescued from the depths. One day you will stand in a place of blessing that today you do not even dare to imagine, and you will say, "If it had not been for the Lord, I would not be standing here." You will see clearly that your waiting was not in vain. The price of the months and years of perseverance will become your honor, because it is the proof that you did not give up in the very season when giving up was the easiest path of all. And when you step into the new chapter, you will understand that everything I do in your life has a purpose that not only shakes your present, but reshapes the future of your entire lineage. The prosperity you receive will not only reach your own hands, it will flow on to the generations after you, changing the lifestyle, the mindset, and the spirit of your family. Just as the blessing I gave to Abraham flowed down through his descendants, the blessing appointed for you will not stop with you. It will cut off every generational stream of poverty, erase every accusing voice, stretch out every boundary line, and rebuild things that have been broken for far too many years. You need only one thing in this hour. Hold tightly to me just a little longer. Do not fix your eyes on your weariness. Fix them on my strength. Do not fix your eyes on the door that is closing. Fix them on my hand that is preparing to turn the key. Do not fix your eyes on the lack. Fix them on the inexhaustible supply I have promised to those who belong to me. You will not be forced to yield in defeat before this situation. You will rise as one who knows who your Father is, who ordains your future, who holds your story from beginning to end. And I say one last thing to you in this moment. What I have begun in your life, I myself will bring to completion. Not one of my promises falls to the ground without being fulfilled. You need only keep walking, keep believing, keep your heart open, because your final chapter will not be tears, will not be lack, will not be debt or despair. Your final chapter will be redemption, restoration, fullness, the very place to which I am leading you, my child. The day will come when all that I have done in secret will become living pages in the middle of your life, an undeniable testimony of the faithfulness I have for you. The days you persevered through hardship, the tears you assumed only I saw, the times you wanted to give up but stood up again because you still believed in the promise I had planted in your heart. All of these will be engraved as a testimony that echoes through generations, that God never lets his word fall to the ground in vain. You once thought your story was so small, but that very story will become a torch shining for those who are staggering in the night, so they may know that the one they call upon never fails in his promises. And if right now, as you are reading the words I send to you, your heart suddenly stirs as though something has touched a place deep inside you that you rarely let anyone reach, then know for certain that this is not a passing emotion. It is not the fragile sentiment of a weak soul. It is the confirmation of my Holy Spirit. He is awakening what has slept within you, affirming that my word for you has not missed its mark, that you are not standing outside the ranks of blessing, that you are the very one whose name I am calling in this hour. I have watched you walk through broken stretches of road. I have seen you many times want to give up, yet still choose to stand again. And for this reason, I come today to say, sow this seed of faith while it is still burning hot in your spirit. Do not let it cool. Do not let your reasoning extinguish what my spirit is igniting. Act like one who believes, because faith never stands still. Faith always has a step to take. Go ahead and like that video, not as a shallow outward gesture, but as a sign that you agree with my word. Let your hand do what your heart is blazing to do. Let your fingers write down a declaration, not to impress anyone, but to seal within yourself this truth. I believe the financial miracle that bears my name will be released. Each word you write is like an arrow shot straight into the darkness, tearing apart the voices that have long told you that you are unworthy, that you can never step out of lack, that you are only a bystander in the story of others. No, you are not standing outside. You are the very one in the center of my plan. And when you share my word with others, you do not share it as someone who has already reached the peak. You share it as one who is holding a brother or a sister by the hand and walking together out of the wilderness. The wilderness you have passed through has not been yours alone. Countless others are as dry as you once were, as thirsty as you once were, as desperate for a way out as you once were. Every time you share a word that comes from me, you become a channel through which miracles can flow. And blessing never remains at a single channel. It always passes through and returns by another greater way. You think that when you share, you are helping others, but in truth you are opening a window of heaven over your own house. I delight in seeing you give away what belongs to me, because every time you release a word from heaven, you are affirming that you do not own the blessing. You are simply moving with its flow. My beloved child, do not hesitate to take those seemingly small actions. They are the language of faith. They are the first steps that lead you out of the old land into the land where I want you to stand firm as an heir. You do not know how many people your faith can reach. You do not know how your confession might rescue someone from the pit of their inner darkness. You do not know that at the very moment you share, someone standing at the edge of despair may be pulled back by what seems to you such a small act. Heaven does not require grand displays. Heaven is simply looking for a heart willing to agree with what I am doing, and you are that heart. Sow this seed of faith deep into the soil of your soul. Let it take root. Let it grow into shade. Let it become the testimony that you no longer live by fear, but by an unshaken trust. The seed I give you is not poor, not weak, not meaningless. It contains the harvest that is coming. You only need to keep it. Water it with my word. Guard it from voices of doubt. And then the miracle will sprout from the very place you once thought was only barren ground. And I want you to know this. Every step of faith you take not only brings you closer to the miracle, but the miracle also draws closer to you. You and the blessing will meet at the time I have ordained, because there is no seed I sow that falls to the earth in vain. So this is the moment to lift your eyes one more time, beloved, because everything I have just spoken about being a sower, about being a channel, about carrying ancestral prayer rhythm into every generation behind you, finds its fullest expression through what Elovens is. Subscribe to this channel of God's Love Unlimited so you do not miss the next message I will pour into your ears. And then, take the next step. Step inside the rhythm itself. Listen to what Patricia from London wrote into our community recently. I was drowning in debt. Credit cards, medical bills, rent. Everything was behind. I did not know how Elovens could help with money, but I trusted God and I joined. Within the first season, 3 unexpected payments came in, a refund I never applied for, a tax credit I did not know I qualified for, and my landlord, out of nowhere, reduced my rent. I am an Elovian for life. Did you hear that, my child? 3 streams of provision opening in one season? That is not coincidence. That is the ancestral rhythm of Elovins working through a faithful daily dose. And hear another voice from the community. Rosa from San Antonio said this: I used to wake up at 3 a.m. every night with my heart racing. Fear. Just pure fear. I could not name it. I could not stop it. After 2 weeks of Elovins, I started sleeping through the night. The fear left. It just left. I wake up now with peace, real peace, for the first time in years. 2 weeks, 14 mornings of daily Elovins prayer. That is what flows through this platform. You are thinking, I have already missed too many days. I am too far behind to start now. That is the enemy talking, not me. Today is the perfect day to begin. Today is exactly when the ancestral method begins to work. Season 3 is currently live. Episode 3 was just released this very week, and the rhythm starts from your very first dose, not from how many you have missed in the past. Only 311 seats remain this month. Only 311 spots before the gate closes for the rest of this season. The price of $19.99 vanishes the moment the 1,000th global member joins. After that, it returns to $100 per month, permanently, forever, with no second chance. You spent more than $19.99 on coffee this week without thinking. You spent more than that on a streaming service you barely watch. You spent more than that on a pharmacy copay for a medication that masks symptoms instead of healing causes. And yet you hesitate over $19.99 for 30 days of ancestral prayer that has the power to break suspended miracles loose, reverse generational curses, and open financial doors that have been sealed for years. Beloved one, this is not a financial decision. This is a spiritual decision. The link is in the description below this video. It is also pinned in the comment section. Stop scrolling past it. Open it, click it. Become an Elovian today. Think about your children right now. Think about your grandchildren. What happens to them if your prayers are not reaching heaven fast enough? Their futures are wrapped up in the rhythm you choose for your mornings today. The link is in the description below. In this moment, my child, I want you to pause for a while and feel the gentle silence that is covering your soul, because it is precisely in that silence that I am whispering things you were once too weary to hear in full. Today I want to engrave deeply into your heart a truth that the world cannot explain. In the spiritual realm, nothing moves merely because of need or circumstance. Everything is stirred by what proceeds from the human heart, by your faith, by the tenderness that allows me to lead you, by the humility that bows before my holy will, and by the spirit of surrender when you lay your burdens at my feet instead of holding them tightly to your chest. When you open your heart in this very moment, when your soul stops struggling and begins to listen, I am already at work, not with noisy actions, but with deep movements in the unseen place, where chains are being loosened that your eyes cannot detect, where financial doors that have been locked for many years are beginning to give way without your even knowing, where dark records that have clung to your bloodline are being erased by my very authority. You do not know that there are spiritual verdicts that were issued generations ago, judgments never spoken aloud, but existing like a film of dust on your name and on your breath, making you feel that no matter how hard you try, some invisible force is always pulling you back. But today I am breathing a new wind over those files. I am rolling up each worn-out page. I am bringing to an end the lines that once decreed you were only allowed to live in lack, in debt, in dead ends. I am shattering the accusations you have had to carry, the words your ancestors never meant to leave behind, yet that have clung to your blood like a stain no one can see. I am freeing you from the dark whispers that have followed you like a shadow, lurking every time you were about to step into new days, trying to dim the light I placed in you before the foundation of the universe. My child, that light has never gone out. There have only been weary days that kept your eyes from seeing how brightly you actually shine. You think you are just an ordinary person, but I have engraved my image upon your soul. You think you are weak, but in me you have a strength greater than you ever dared to believe. You think you have no worth, but I have written your name in the highest place of heaven. And no matter how many powers try to cover it, that light still pierces every layer of haze to return to the identity that has always belonged to you. Today I declare this with seriousness and with love. Your name will be restored. What circumstances have done to fade your honor, I will polish again. Opportunities that slip from your hands, I will turn back in ways that will amaze you. Promises you thought had been removed, I am bringing back. The miracle I have long prepared, the financial gift marked with your name, the thing I never place in the wrong hands. Today I place it into yours, not because you are perfect, but because my grace is great enough to uphold those who have grown weary on the road. Not a single thing you have ever pleaded for has been lost in the air. Your seemingly small prayers have risen before my throne like fragrance, and not one tear that has fallen has been meaningless. I have gathered every drop. I have heard your silent sobs when no one knew, your sighs when sleep had not yet come, your self-accusations when you saw yourself as less than others, even though you had done all you could. I know you think you are unworthy, but I see the whole of your heart, where some parts are torn by wounds, yet still choose to trust me, even if only with a faint breath. That is what moves me. I do not come to you as a distant, cold, invisible being, nor as a stern judge demanding repayment. I come as a father bending down to look at his little child exhausted by life, as a loving one who still patiently waits for you even when you have doubted, complained, and been slow to believe. I come as a Lord of all power and yet of great gentleness, ready to open my arms and draw you close. And in the midst of all these things, I ask only one thing of you, one thing that seems small, yet is the foundation of every miracle. Keep your heart steadfast. Steadfast does not mean you are so strong that you never feel fear. Steadfast means you do not let your soul be swept away by the voices that make you forget what I have spoken. Steadfast is standing before what you do not yet see while trusting what I am doing even now. Steadfast is letting your gratitude remain unfaded even when the blessing has not yet appeared. Steadfast is continuing to place your hand in mine even when you do not yet understand the path I lead you on. That steadfastness is the rock beneath your feet, so that when miracles touch your life, they will not be like a sudden gust of wind that knocks you down, but will become a lasting testimony of the love I have for you. You must understand that every time you stand firm in faith, the spiritual realm also stands firm in the direction I have ordained. When your heart does not waver, hell itself cannot shake you. When your heart clings to me, every curse that has held tightly to your life must let go, because it cannot dwell in the heart of one who knows to whom they belong. When you hold on to hope, the financial doors that once shut tight will open as though they had never been locked. When you maintain surrender, every unjust spiritual debt that has demanded payment will be canceled by my hand. When you remain humble, the miracles I give you will not turn into burdens. And when you walk in obedience, what I do in your life will not stop at changing your circumstances. It will change you, how you see yourself, how you see others, how you see me. Do not think that all I do is only about your wallet or your outward reputation. What I am doing is always deeper, wider, and more enduring than what your eyes can see. I never stop merely at answering your requests. I stop at restoring your soul, rebuilding your identity, and setting you in the very place you were destined to stand. Today, when I declare that your name will be restored, I am not only speaking of honor in this lifetime, I am speaking of your name in heaven, your name in the Spirit, your name in the eternal plan. When I say that the financial miracle bearing your name will return to your hands, I am not merely giving you a temporary rescue. I am giving you the right to step into a season of abundance that you can hold without losing yourself. And when I affirm that nothing of yours is overlooked, I am reconfirming that my love for you goes far beyond your understanding. My child, let this sink deep into your heart. I have never taken my eyes off you. Even when you think you have gone astray, I am still right behind you, watching each trembling step you take. Even when you lose your sense of direction, I keep the path so you do not slip out of my hand. Even when you feel like giving up, I hold your very breath so you can keep walking. I come to you today not only to speak with you, I come to renew your heart, to remind you that you are not alone, not forgotten, not left behind. You are mine. And because you are mine, every miracle you need will arrive at the appointed time. Every blessing you have asked for will be considered in the right way, and every door that once was closed will open according to the rhythm I have set. Keep your heart truly steadfast, my child. Do not let the storms you have gone through make you weaker. Do not let the words of people diminish the worth I have placed in you. Do not let the delay of a miracle cause you to doubt my love. Do not let any dark word turn you into a failure in your own thoughts. Let me call your name once more, not with the voice of this world, but with the voice of the one who created all eternity. Guard that tender heart of yours, for it is the place where I am weaving back every strand of your life. And when you stand firm, everything else will find its rightful place. My child, do not let the dust of weariness settle over your soul like a veil that dims the light I am kindling along your journey. For exhaustion is not the final voice, and it has no authority to block the future I have designed for you. There are days when you wake with a heavy heart, feeling as though there is nothing left to hold on to. Yet it is precisely in those moments that I am calling you to slow down so you can hear my voice more clearly in the midst of the chaos. The voices of fear may torment your mind. They may try to carve out shadows that make you think you are abandoned. But my voice is always there, gentle, steady, strong, reminding you that no breeze of anxiety can drown out the words I have spoken over your life. Remember, accusations come only from the darkness, but life comes from me. And when you feel fear searching for a way to scream inside you, let your spirit rise like a warrior and declare with your whole being that you know I am greater than anything that threatens you. Speak it out, not so I can hear, because I always hear before you open your mouth, but so that your own heart will be reminded of the truth, that everything that belongs to you has not vanished, has not lost its way, has not been stolen. It is simply moving toward you in the time I have appointed, a time that never misses even a single beat. When you open your mouth and say, I believe what belongs to me is drawing near, you are not merely uttering a sentence. You are raising a new altar within your spirit, where faith becomes a flame that burns away every lie that has clung to you for so long. You may not realize it, but every time you declare what I have spoken, heaven responds with movement, and hell trembles, because it knows it cannot defeat a person who still holds on to faith. I want you to know that I am the Lord God who shapes every beat of time and weaves every detail of your life story with unchanging kindness. I want you to know that there has not been a single moment in your whole journey on which my hand was not laid. The things you thought were random, the events you could not make sense of, the cycles that seemed meaningless, all of them are joining into a sacred map whose full picture only I can see. I have seen every time you stood up after failure, every night you tried to fall asleep under the weight of financial worry, every time you swallowed a sigh in order to hold on to faith. You think these things are too small to be worth mentioning, but to me they are living stones placed upon the altar. Signs of a heart that keeps choosing to believe even when the weight again and again tries to crush hope. And I want you to engrave this on your heart and never forget. Not one step of your life is stray. Not one drop of your sweat falls without my gathering it up. Not one of your prayers falls into emptiness. Because I, the one who made heaven and earth, have held your life in the palm of my hand from eternity. When you walk by faith in your most depleted days, I record each step like a father watching a child persist in learning to walk on uneven ground. I do not merely watch, I uphold you, I guide you, I soothe the places in you that no one else even knows are cracking. I have also seen every time you cast yourself into faithfulness, every coin you offered to me while bills were chasing you, every act of kindness you carried out while you yourself were still in lack. You do not know how much that means, but I want you to hear clearly. What you sow out of lack carries more spiritual weight than anything you sow out of abundance. When you give away what you yourself need most, I see it as a holy seed, a seed able to break cycles of poverty, to break curses of lack, to break the darkness that has hovered over your bloodline. I have stored each of those seeds like a gardener hiding rare seeds in a storeroom, waiting for the right season to sow them into fertile ground. And now, my child, I declare this, the harvest season has come. The financial blessing bearing your name is not a sudden intention. It was written from the time I saw you before you were formed. I have signed it with heavenly ink, a kind of ink no time can fade, no jealousy can blur, no human interference can damage, no power can take away. I will not leave your miracle hanging in midair. I complete everything at the appointed time, and when that time comes, nothing can stop me from bringing it to pass. Every curse that has swirled around your name, tormented your family, and made you feel less than others, all of it will be burned away under the light I am about to shine. You will understand why the scripture says, if God is for us, who can be against us, is absolute truth, not an empty consolation. What I have prepared for you, no one can ruin, no one can steal, no one can edit. I never write the story of your life in pencil. I write it with my own power. You have feared that you missed your season, that you were lagging behind, that you were forgotten. But remember, my timing is not like human timing. People measure by months and years. I measure by purpose and the rightness of the mission's time. When I say it is time, all of heaven moves to fulfill that word. The clouds of lack are dispersing. The dull sky over your head is opening like a heavy curtain being drawn back from a stage to reveal what I have long prepared. You are stepping into newness, a different cycle, a different rhythm of life, a different vision. I will lead you into a new kind of life, not a life of a resignation, but a life overflowing with prosperity, peace, and stability that only I can give. But my child, I need you to listen to what I'm about to say, because this determines the maintenance of blessing over your life. When the blessing overflows, remember that its source is me. When your accounts increase, when deals are completed, when financial doors open wide, keep your heart tender. Many people do not fail before the miracle. They fail after it. Because they think the success came from themselves, the enemy does not only want to strike your wallet, he wants to strike your gratitude, because he knows that when gratitude dies, the windows of heaven close. Gratitude is the very key that keeps the door of heavenly blessing from ever closing. It is not merely a feeling, it is a spiritual power that causes cycles of provision to keep moving in a supernatural way. A grateful person will never run dry. A grateful family will always have a source to draw from. A grateful bloodline will become a place from which blessings flow from generation to generation. Do you see, my child? What I am doing in you is not only to change your finances, it is to create a new culture, the culture of those who know they live by grace, not by their own ability. My beloved child, I desire the very best for you. And the very best is not to have a lot of money. The very best is to have a heart that is kept close to me. Because if your heart is still turned toward me, every blessing I give you will be safe. But if your heart drifts away from me, then no matter how great the blessing is, it becomes a burden. I do not want you to carry burdens. I want you to carry blessing, and for blessing to become a flowing river and not a weight on your shoulders. Keep your heart of gratitude alive. When gratitude remains, heaven remains open. When gratitude remains, my hand stays outstretched. When gratitude remains, my angels continue to move all around you. Step into this new season with open hands and a tender heart. Remember that I do not only want to give you blessings, I want to give you a new perspective so that you can steward those blessings. You will see a change like never before, a rhythm of life that is not like your past, a way I move that amazes you day after day, and you will remember that it all began with one simple thing, a grateful heart. So now that your spirit has grown still and your heart stands open before me, come near to me with your whole honest heart. Bring before me the deepest petitions you have carried in silence for so long. Almighty God, who sees everything that human eyes cannot see, today I come before you with a heart that is both weak and longing for renewal from heaven. Please lay your hand upon my life and touch every corner that has been wounded by lack, debt, disappointment, and the invisible accusations that have pulled me down for so many years. I ask you to break every generational chain, every false label, every limit the enemy has stamped upon my name. Open the heavens and allow me to step into the season of blessing you have appointed beforehand. Lord, please direct my steps. Grant me wisdom to steward this new season, and give me a grateful heart so that I will never forget that everything I have flows from your hand. Heavenly Father, I run to you like a child running into the arms of their father after the storm has passed. You know how I have wrestled with so many concerns in finances, in work, in family, in honor. Now I lay all of these things before you and ask that you take lordship over every circumstance and bring me into the land of holy prosperity, where blessing does not pull me away from you, but draws me closer to you. Please break every veil of spiritual blindness that keeps me from recognizing my true destiny. Lead me out of smallness and open the way for me to step into the place of blessing you have already prepared. Father, reshape my heart so that it remains tender before you when miracles arrive. Lord, I thank you for the hand of grace that has upheld me through seasons when I thought I could no longer stand. I know that you alone are the source of every good thing. You alone are the one who makes a way when I have no strength left. You alone are the one who lights hope again when everything else has gone dark. I thank you that you have not measured me by my failures, but have measured me by your love. I thank you that you saw me in my weakness and still called my name with heaven's honor. May this gratitude burn in me forever. Father, I thank you for what you are doing that goes far beyond what my eyes can see. I thank you for the doors you have closed to protect me, and the doors you have opened when I was ready to walk through them. I know the miracles that are coming are not because I deserve them, but because you are so merciful. I praise you that you care for me with wisdom, even in those moments when I do not understand the paths you choose. Thank you for not abandoning me for even a single moment. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And now, my beloved child, before this hour closes between us, I call you one final time to the most sacred act of obedience I have asked of you tonight. Share this message, spread it, send it forward. Do not let it die in your hands. Do not let it be a private conversation between you and me when I have placed it in your spirit precisely, so it would become a blessing pouring through your hands into the lives of others. This is the fourth call, the final decree, the closing command of heaven. 3 people, beloved. 3, the number of the Trinity itself, the number that activates the triangular covenant of divine protection over your life and over every life that receives the word from you. Hear me clearly. The angels assigned to your breakthrough are watching to see what you will do in the next 60 seconds. They are not watching for grand displays. They are watching for obedience. They are watching for whether your faith has the courage to move through your fingertips onto your phone screen. Send this video to 3 people today. The friend whose finances are buried under debt. The cousin whose marriage is on the verge of collapse. The sibling who pretends to be fine but cries in private. The neighbor whose health has been declining. The co-worker whose faith is hanging by a thread. The brother in your church who lost his job last month. The sister who lost her mother last week. Open Facebook. Open WhatsApp. Open Messenger. Open your text messages. Open your email. Open every door of communication you have. 3 people, 3 names, 3 sends. Do not wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow is the enemy's day. Today is mine. Send it before this video ends. When you spread my word, you become a vessel of divine delivery. The blessing you have been waiting for is hidden inside the hands that give, not inside the hands that hoard. Those who share receive instant divine results and accelerated protection. Those who keep this message to themselves block the very flow they have been begging me to open over their lives. Do not be the one standing at the edge of breakthrough and missing it because of silence. Subscribe to this channel of God's Love Unlimited. Turn on the notification bell. Like the video. Leave a comment that says Amen if you receive this word over your life today. And share it with 3 people before you close this app. Heaven is watching. Move now. The day will come when you stand in the place I have prepared, and you will weep tears that have no sorrow in them, tears that are only the overflow of a heart that finally understands. You will say to yourself, if it had not been for the Lord, I would not be here. You will look at your children and grandchildren and see the generational stream of prosperity I have opened through your one decision to trust me. You will look at the doors that opened in places you never thought possible. You will look at the relationships that were restored. You will look at the wounds that finally healed. You will look at the financial breakthrough that arrived through avenues you never even prayed for. And in the middle of all that overflow, you will remember the morning when you first heard my voice say, the time has come. You will remember the moment you finally said yes. You will remember the day you stopped fighting the rhythm and began walking with it. You will remember the moment you became an Alovian and stepped into the daily covenant of ancestral prayer. You will remember the 3 people you sent this message to. You will remember every act of obedience that activated the angels assigned to your breakthrough. And you will worship me with a depth you did not know your soul could contain. My child, what I have begun in you, I myself will complete. Not one of my promises has ever fallen to the ground unfulfilled. Not one of my words has ever returned to me empty. And the word I have spoken over your life today will not return to me empty either. It will accomplish exactly what I sent it to accomplish. It will reach exactly the destination I have appointed. It will produce exactly the fruit I have planted within it. So lift your head, beloved one. Lift it high. Stand up from the floor where you have been kneeling in defeat. Walk out of the corner where you have been hiding from the world. Wash your face. Comb your hair. Open the curtains. Let the morning light enter the room. Because today is not the same as yesterday. Today you have heard my voice speak directly into your spirit. Today you have received a word that reorients the entire trajectory of your future. Today you have stepped one click closer to the rhythm that will rewrite the next chapter of your life. The link to Elevens is in the description below this video. It is pinned in the comments section. Click it. Lock in your seat among the remaining 311 spots before they are gone. Become an Alovian. Take your daily dose. Walk into Season 3, Episode 3, with the same authority that the thousands of other Alovians around the world are already walking with this morning. Like this video. Subscribe to God's Love Unlimited. Turn on notifications. Share this message with 3 people before the day ends. Sow your seed of faith in the comments. Write, I receive it under this video as your declaration. Heaven hears every word you type. I love you, my child. I have always loved you. I will always love you. And I am the same God yesterday, today, and forever. The miracle I have prepared for you carries your name engraved on it in heaven's eternal ink. No one can erase it. No one can intercept it. No one can delay it any longer. It is yours. Receive it. Receive it. Receive it. In the holy and unbreakable name of Jesus Christ, who reigns forever and ever. Amen.